5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, then a little technical issue. Let's try to open this up again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This is the Culture Clash.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Oh, that's what I get for hiring a skeleton crew to handle my graphics. Hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to Culture Clash episode 265 here on the Fandom Podcast Network. We are covering all things fandom, and right now the talk is Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and we got to dive deep into episode 3 as it is very interesting as an astrogation problem. They get into too many big words for Star Wars. What can I say there? But I do need a crew here on Culture Clash if I'm going to talk all these wonderful things. And first and foremost, joining me as always, my co-host and my co-founder from another brother, co-founder and brother from another mother, Mr. Kevin Reitzel. Kevin, I'm a mess tonight. Help me.
Yeah, let me take over on that stuff. Very interesting as an astrogation problem. What's funny though, Kyle, is that when they first listed the title of the episode on Disney Plus, they actually misspelled the astrogation. They said astrogration, and I was trying to figure that out, and I realized that they had misspelled it there. So yeah, unless they meant it, but I don't know.
It's good to know I'm not the only one who's a little off today, but you know what? We have more backup for me because apparently I'm a mess. There's reasons for that. We'll talk about those later. But as always, the Queen of Movie Foo is here, and it's been fun because this is an interesting experiment for her, Kevin, because she's watching these as they come out.
It's true. She's not usually she waits for it all to come out and watch it, but she's watching these live, and but it's more importantly, she's watching Star Wars. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome, Lacey Adderhold. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Dang it. Every time.
Yeah. Lacey, you need to put a little post-it up there saying check mute button.
It's bright red on my screen. I should see it. But yes, no, I'm very excited. Now, I do watch Star Wars. I just don't usually watch the TV shows because there's just so many of them and it's hard to catch up. I will eventually get around to all of them. I have all of the Mandalorian that have been put out. I've got Ashoka. I bought all the things. I'm going to catch up. I just haven't yet. But yes, this is probably the first thing I've streamed individual episodes since streaming was a thing and Netflix started dropping whole seasons at once. Once that happened, because I've been doing that for obviously decades, where I would wait for a season to come out on DVD and just binge the whole thing. So yeah, very excited to do these one at a time because this is the first Star Wars TV show that I was like, I want to see this now.
Well, we are excited to talk Skeleton Crew, and we're going to get into mass spoilers for episode 3 as we cover it. So, as Kevin has up on the screen, spoiler alert. If you have not watched episode 3 of Skeleton Crew yet, go back, watch it, and rejoin us. And we love to have you, whether it's here on our YouTube channel or on our audio podcast, which you can find all over the place. But yes, we are here, and also remind you too that we are not the only place covering Skeleton Crew on the Fandom Podcast Network, because our good friends who travel within the Drunken Gungan over at What a Piece of Junk are covering all things Skeleton Crew, giving their thoughts, their predictions, their ideas, and doing a great job of it as always, Kevin.
Yes, definitely. So they usually drop their shows right after the weekend, so make sure you check that out.
And guys, too, this is a big episode of Culture Clash. We got some Let's News, we got some Buy It, Stream It, or Unsee It. So we got your news and reviews along with some Skeleton Crew. But first, let's talk about what's coming soon and may have just arrived on the Fandom Podcast Network. And there's a great load of content here. Of course, on Culture Clash last week, we covered the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. And then just before that, it was a little save from Oblivion. Kevin, there's no clones running around on this episode, is there?
No, but we felt that we did save from Fandom Oblivion the 6th Day, the Arnold Schwarzenegger little hidden gem from 2000.
And of course, too, over at Union Federation, where we cover all things Star Trek and the Orville, we have a great two-part series covering, or great series covering every two-part episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, which was a lot of fun. Kevin did an amazing job with that. And of course, we're covering all things Lower Deck, Kevin. And we got 2 episodes left of Lower Decks.
Yeah, the final season of Lower Decks is getting ready to end, and we got 2 more to go.
And then 2 over at Lethal Mullet, our good buddy Adam O'Brien, the Lethal Mullet himself, covering all things Dune Prophecy. He's got 4 episodes out of Mullet Guild, where he's diving deep into this show. He is a huge Dune fan. He knows where all the spice is hidden on Arrakis. It's a great listen to. Definitely give that a check out. And of course, too, for our Marvel fans out there, we're kind of in a little bit of a Marvel lull, but that doesn't mean you can't go back and listen to our coverage of Agatha All Along on the True Believers podcast. And Kevin, we've been doing some things with Time Warp. We're wrapping up the year of 1984.
Yeah, excited. This month, December, we're going to be talking about the final month, which of course included classics like Beverly Hills Cop, Johnny Dangerously, Starman, the original Dune, Runaway, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. And we'll also cover the awards that happened for the year of 1984, which includes the Razzies.
They're the best awards of them all. And of course, too, coming up next year, the movies of 1990, Kevin. I feel a little Saved by the Bell going on here.
Saved by the Bell came out before 90, but we're definitely going to be covering all of the movies of 1990. We'll be celebrating its 35th anniversary, and it's going to be an interesting run. A lot of fun movies we'll be discussing.
And of course, Kevin, hair metal, where you have your group of just hair metal experts. I'm going to call them. They know their stuff. The League of What is the term?
You never remember what I call my boys. There. Yeah. The Hair Metal Council. Yes. Yeah. We covered VH1's top 40 hair bands that came out. A really big special that came out in 2001, and then we covered our own top 10 with our own sleaze meter. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did too many things in the 80s. Don't expect me to remember things. And of course, too, Couch Potato Theater. We've got all kinds of things going on. Your Hair Metal Council joins you to cover all things Spinal Tap, Kevin.
Yep. And then we did Terminator recently as well. My lovely wife was on that. And we also covered the 10th anniversary of John Wick. We had our good friend Norman Lau return. He's our original founder of the network. And we just recorded, soon to be released, also with my wife, came in with us there. We did Aliens 1986 Couch Potato Theater. We also discussed the fantastic documentary that came out earlier this year, Aliens Expanded.
And also we will be revisiting Deadpool Wolverine with a remash very soon, and recording here very shortly too our continued look at James Cameron films with Couch Potato Theater. We do the deep dive on The Abyss.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, well, and coming up, we got a couple of fun things too. The 1984 Michael Keaton classic, Johnny Dangerously, and Kevin, we're doing a little something special for Christmas this year.
This was Lacey's pick. We're doing The Long Kiss Goodnight, our Christmas pick movie. Her Christmas pick movie.
Yeah,
got the Blu-ray,
and of course, too, coming up in Couch Potato Theater's future in next year, it is a flashback to the 80s. The movies of canon films, Kevin.
That's right. We are celebrating our favorite 80s canon action films. We got about 6 we're going to do, so we're really excited about that.
And you know what, guys? That's going to wrap up everything that was coming on the network, but we got some stuff to talk about here. So without further ado,
Let's use.
Well, not a whole lot of news, but there's definitely some Marvel stuff going on out there that is worth the thing. We gave Adam O'Brien, the Lethal Mullet, just hopped in. You missed it. We gave you all the spicy love.
Dude, you got to start watching these at the beginning of the show. We just totally gave you a whole little thing about all the Mullet Guild stuff you have coming out, man.
So, some interesting news. Earlier this year, we got the big news that Robert Downey Jr. was returning to the MCU, of course, playing Dr. Doom. Well, the other day, it's dropped that Chris Evans is now returning to the MCU in Avengers Doomsday. And yeah, that's spicy news too, there, Mr. Lethal Mullet. The question is he returning as Captain America or is he returning as something else? And they just haven't said it yet. But Kevin, it's bring all the gang home again for the MCU these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation that he'll play like the Hydra version of Captain America. Been seeing stuff like that. I just want my Captain America back. I get why he stayed back and got old and grew old with Peggy. I get it, but we need Cap back. We really do. It's proven fact that we miss our original core, and whatever incarnation that we get, we need to have him back. Give them all the money they want. I don't care. I need my Cap back. I need my Robert Downey Jr. back.
Lacey?
I mean, he was in the Fantastic Four. If he's going to be in this movie, it's gonna be the Johnny Storm. It's gotta be. I mean, they just brought him back in Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, it would kind of serve to do like.
I don't think we're gonna go that direction where they use the alternate verse in the Avengers thing. I don't think he's gonna be Johnny Storm like he was in Deadpool and Wolverine. He's gonna be back as Captain.
I mean, I think that in order for them to pull off like going to the Doomsday timeline, it would make sense that they would pull other timelines in there, even as just, bits and, kind of going back and forth.
So I have a theory, if I may throw it out there.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Theories.
There is a potential. It would be our proper Captain America. Perhaps he has one extra stop on his trip returning the Infinity Stones.
Okay.
Like the Time Stone?
Yeah. I mean, that they could put him, that way to bring him back into the fold, at least for a movie or two. We'll see what happens. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. Could be interesting.
Right.
But there's some other interesting Marvel news that doesn't necessarily involve the MCU, and that is Sony. Sony has basically said that they have, of course, Kraven the Hunter getting ready. It actually comes out tomorrow. But they are getting out of
actually it came out today.
Yeah, that's technically, yeah. They are ending their films of Spider-Man universe bad guys. I think that Venom, which came out and did fairly well, but it's been kind of rocky since. Just to give you an idea, this is according to some of the numbers from the article. The studio's struggling attempts to build a Spider-Man spin-off universe based on the films of villains and supporting characters, but without Spider-Man himself, sees their last effort in Kraven. The approach worked mostly okay for the Venom trilogy, but even those saw substantial diminishing returns from a high point of $856 million for the first film in 2018 to just $472.8 million for this past one, The Last Dance. Then Morbius and Madam Web grossed a mere $167 million and $100 million respectively.
Madam Web?
Yeah, Madam Web and
Morbius.
So yeah, it's been a rough go for Sony with these Spider-Man movies, and I think it just breaks down to the fact, outside of Venom, which I think you can get away with it a little bit, if you're going to use a Spider-Man character, you need to have Spider-Man in the movie.
They're just doing these to keep the Spider-Man license, right?
Pretty much that's it. I think my feeling is that they see the writing on the wall after the last Miles Morales animated film comes out, that it might be time, and I would not be surprised within the next 3 years that we finally see the Spider-Man rights just properly under Marvel Studios, and we're good to go.
I feel like they've been the redheaded stepchild, like the DC universe for Marvel. They just can't quite get it going, and it's they just haven't figured out how to make them matter against the MCU, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Adam chiming in, he's actually kind of glad that the May Holland and Tom Hardy didn't have a big movie together. Needs the Raimi treatment.
I would dig Tom Holland and Tom Hardy in a movie together. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that could be interesting. But yeah, as I mentioned too, Kraven the Hunter, just as you said, Kevin, came out today. I know there's some people who are interested in it. the early reviews.
I almost went to go see it, but I didn't have time to see it and then come back here for the show, so I didn't
Me
go.
too. I was gonna go see it, and I was like, no.
Well, I have a feeling it'll be popping up and buy it, stream it, and see it before the year is out. So, with that though, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been fighting a bit of a cold. I got a little bit of cold medicine in me. I am going to now hand the reins of the show over to Mr. Reitzel because it's time to talk a little bit of Skeleton Crew.
All right, Skeleton Crew here, guys. Spoiler alert, by the way, just another reminder here. But yeah, we are on episode 3 of a total of 8 episodes here for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And this was a good one here, guys. We had some fun stuff here. Kyle, I'm going to go ahead and read the plot synopsis. If you could just do me a favor and scroll through some of the episode pictures that I have prepared for us here. So, all right, here we are for Star Wars Skeleton Crew episode 3, called Very Interesting as an Astrogation Problem. On At-Aten, the parents of the children are told that due to the kids going past the barrier, it is out of the jurisdiction of the droids. Jod helps the kids escape the brig, but they refuse to leave without the droid SM-33, forcing him to go back and rescue him. They outwit the pirates and flee. Fern refuses to trust Jod. Wim and Neil are convinced that he's a real Jedi, and KB reluctantly admits that he is their only hope of getting home. Jod takes the kids to a moon to meet their friend Kim, that's spelled K-H-Y-M-M, who is a map expert. But that even he doesn't trust. Kim refers to Jod as Crimson Jack before revealing that At-Aten is among a series of legendary planets that have protected themselves with the barrier. She prints the coordinates, but Jod realizes that she is stalling for the authorities to arrive and force the kids to flee. Jod finally admits that he's not a Jedi, but agrees that they must work together to get what they want and escape the authorities to their next destination. All right, let's get some first reactions here. Kyle, let's start with you. You're on mute, Kyle.
We're just off tonight. Another incredibly fun episode of Skeleton Crew. It's so intriguing, the mysteries they're building, and I love the Kim character. I love the design. I loved how smart and how sharp it looked. It was so well done, and I hope this is a character that's going to stick around for a while in the Star Wars universe. I love the fact that she's basically an astrologer mapping the universe, and I think that's so cool. And Jude Law, I'm very curious to see which directions they're going with, because he seems to have about 30,000 aliases throughout the galaxy at this point. But I'm intrigued, and this episode was fun. And I love seeing the X-Wings. I love seeing the kids get in the gunner cockpits, kind of like the old original Star Wars film, getting into Millennium Falcon gunner chairs. And I'm just having fun with it, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is I'm just enjoying it, and I'm taking it for what I'm able to take it for what it is and enjoy it for what it is.
Lacey, what are your first reactions?
Again, I agree. I love Kim. She's the cutest little owl kitty ever. I mean, it's like an owl kitty with an outfit, and that there's nothing more awesome than that. Also, when Neil is sleeping, the little tiny elephant, little trunk, and he has a snore, and it's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like a tiny little, like, I can't even do it. It's a little tiny elephant squeal, or I don't know. I can't even. Yeah, but it was great. I love seeing the X-Wings. I love seeing the fact that what's his name? Jude Law's character, Jod.
Jod, yeah.
I liked seeing the conversation with the junk man, the droid guy, talking about the captain and everything, and you kind of get a little bit more of a sense of what he's willing to do and what he's not willing to do to rescue, to save his own ass, kind of thing. So
right.
I think it's going to be, ramping up to be really fun.
Yeah, it definitely was an adventure. I liked how they kind of questioned him in the beginning, like, why didn't you try to get out, sooner? And he says, why would I leave when I have no ship to escape to, But we'll see if there's more to that. And there's a lot of Easter eggs and shout outs to other stuff that we'll get into in a little bit. But I really enjoyed it. Visually, it was fantastic. I think, though, the biggest thing that I have questions about, and I'm going to bring it up later in the show, is what happened in the beginning of the show regarding the parents worried about their kids. BB, the girl, had a monitor thing with her. She feels like she has some issues, kind of like a Lobot. I think Rebel Force Radio referred to as like kind of Lobot, the way she's got these kind of cybernetic things going on. The bracelet thing that I think that she has was similar to one they took from the Ewok adventure. Sindel had the little wrist thing around her wrist as well, or the kids did. But I love the callbacks too, and I'm very curious from the pirates' point of view, but now I have questions about the parents' point of view. So we'll get into that. Speaking of, let's go ahead and get into some Star Wars trivia and Star Wars Easter eggs here. But we have more Easter eggs for you here, guys. And I'm going to start with the first one here. And this one is in episode 3, Jod visits a small workshop containing numerous droids. He's, of course, going to rescue the one the kids have. As he checks out every broken and confiscated droid, he comes across a familiar face to Star Wars fans. It is none other than the B-1 battle droid, aka Roger droids, used in the invasion of Naboo. Jod tries to interact with the droid, but after uttering one sentence, its head ends up breaking and crashes to the ground. The droid also refers to the Clone Wars and asked if they won. Anyone want to read the second one? Because this is the big one, guys.
I'll take that. The episode also has a major twist as Jude Law's real identity is revealed as Crimson Jack. His character is somewhat mysterious and first featured in 1977 Star Wars Issue 7. He is a rival of Han Solo and attempts to steal his reward for saving Princess Leia and even abducting them. Following a heated argument between Han and Jack, the former ended up shooting Jack.
Now, I just want to clarify something here, too. If you know your original Star Wars Marvel history, after the first 6-issue run covering, of course, the first film of Star Wars, the comics sold very, very well. So they were given leeway to do other adventures. And of course, the adventures would take place after the Battle of Yavin. What happened was all that money and loot that Han and Chewie got before, when they left, thinking that they weren't going to fight for the Battle of Yavin. Basically, Crimson Jack is the first big nemesis that the Star Wars crew runs into, and he is a pirate, and he's dressed very dashingly. If you look, he's got shorty shorts with the black outfit, sleeveless arms, and of course he is Crimson Jack because he's got red hair and a red beard. But he actually attempts to steal the money that Han Solo and Chewbacca are using to pay off Jabba the Hutt. And
it's hard to pull off a leotard. It's hard to pull off a leotard with that beard like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Of course, it was the 70s, so there you go. But that is Crimson Jack. So there you go. Yeah. All right. Lacey, do you have the notes up? Do you want to read number 3 there for us?
Sure. Jod's use of the Force. He uses the Force, his Force, to distract the pirates in a similar fashion to Obi-Wan distracting the stormtroopers in A New Hope, which was really cool.
Nice. All right. Next, we have, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, Star Wars Skeleton Crew Episode 3 showcases another surprising Easter egg. A ship, the Katuni, is owned by a pirate named Hondo Anaka from the Star Wars franchise. For the unaware, Katuni was a Jedi whom Hondo met during the Clone Wars. All right, Kyle, you got the next one here for us?
Yeah, it's the good old door probe. It was also spotted in Return of the Jedi at the doors of Jabba's palace. Star Wars Universe's version of the ring cam, apparently.
And Kim had 4 of them, so she had some big security.
Yeah. Lacey, you want to get the next one for us here, number 6?
Sure. X-Wing Sector Patrol. The episode references the Adelphi. Is it Adelphi?
Adelphi, I think.
Of the Mandalorian as the New Republic tries to protect the galaxy.
And one of the reoccurring characters they refer to as Blue. He's there on the right, but in the back you can also see Clone Wars and Star Wars maestro Dave Filoni with the hat back there. That's Rick Famuyiwa, one of the directors. They had a little cameo in one of the Mandalorian. I think it was season 3, if I remember correctly. So there you go. All right, guys. Next one we have here is in the brig in Port Borgo. We see tentacles reaching out of one of the cells, much like the ones that wrap itself around poor C-3PO in the dungeon of Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. I'll get us the next one here.
Yep. And then the next one up, the first droid that Jod activates in the droid workshop is a CZ series model, like CZ1 from, you guessed it, A New Hope.
Yeah. I think as a toy that we call him the Death Star droid.
Yeah, there was a Death Star droid.
Yeah. Lacey, you want to read number 9 there for us? This is a good one.
The third one, of course, is a Trade Federation battle droid from the Star Wars prequel trilogy who wonders aloud if the Separatists won the war.
All right. I think I messed this one up here. Okay, here we go. The other one here is Bengar, who is the Ishi Tib that we see that confronts Jod. He's voiced by someone that we know. The character is Benjar Pranik, is a member of the Ishi Tib species, first seen in Return of the Jedi. There's a good Tib, says Jod, and of course, he is voiced by actor Alfred Molina, who has a Lucasfilm connection in that he played Satipo in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark. Also had a great role in Maverick 2, the Western. So there you go.
And also he's got the Marvel Disney connection being Doc Ock.
This is true. Yeah. All right. I just wanted to get you guys some thoughts on the cast and crew. Which cast member stood out for you? I'm going to start with you, Kyle.
I'm actually going with the voice actor, Aaliyah Shawkat, who voiced Kim. The great, perfect voice for that character. And what you felt like was this is a character who you were being introduced to, you thought was maybe a little bit, I'm not sure. And then you realize how much when she sees the children, how much she is a caring character. So I'm kind of hoping this is a character that will stick around. I would be remiss if I didn't mention how great Jude Law was in this episode. Yeah. I thought he was fantastic, playing every angle he could, and I still think there's enough mystery around him that are we 100% sure he's that character, or could he still be something else?
Lacey, what about you? Who in the cast stood out for you in this episode?
I just lost his name. My favorite little elephant fella, like my little
Neil.
He's adorable, and he's that kid who wants to do all the things, but he's very timid, and but when they put him in charge of flying, when John was like, take the wheel or take the helm or whatever, and he was like, me, and the fact that he was it worked toward their advantage for him to be shaky because they were trying to avoid the X-Wings. It was perfect. I loved it. It was great. And he's just his whole demeanor is what I would be dealing with if I was caught. I'd be like, but okay, but
All right, guys. I picked a couple of hot topics for us to discuss here, so let's hit that right now. Okay, so I got questions. We got to ask them, guys. Here we go. So, lost a planet, Master Obi-Wan has. At-Aten is a lost jewel in the Old Republic. Attempting to help the kids find their lost planet, Star Wars fans will likely recall a similar situation in the prequels. After all, trying to find this lost jewel of the Old Republic is not unlike when Obi-Wan Kenobi was trying to locate the world of Kamino, which had been erased from the Jedi archives. And then also, wait, what are the Palmerish numerals and Proto-Republic artifacts? What do we know about before the Republic? Aiding in their search for At-Atkin, Kim uses an insignia on Fern's pack to refine her data. To that end, she mentions that she's never seen the Palmerish numerals on Proto-Republic artifacts. As such, this is an exciting clue that those living in the New Republic timeline possess some intriguing knowledge that the galaxy before there was even an Old Republic. So what I'm getting here, guys, is that At-Aten has been hidden from the Republic and the Empire for a very long time, it seems like. It's been isolated for a while. Why? What's going on? Why has it been protected? Why has it been erased from the Jedi archives or the New Republic archives, as it seems? Did it have intentions of something else? I mean, I have a feeling this could probably go back to the High Republic. the Acolyte time, even way before that, guys. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this, especially with the character of Kim kind of like laying out the map and kind of finally letting us know and letting the kids know you're on a special place. Start with you, Kyle.
I think this is an amazing concept with the story. To see as we start to realize just how sheltered these kids have been. No idea about all the wrong, no idea about the war, anything like that. There's so much more here just for them to be that sheltered. But then how Kim uses the symbols and everything to apparently get some coordinates is great. But I'm like you, Kevin. I go back to the opening of the episode here with the parents, and you see especially Wynn's dad.
Hold on. That's the next topic we're going to talk about. So hold on to that for a second, okay?
Okay. Well, but just there's definitely you get the feeling of more going on. But yeah, just it was so cool that they bring up these artifacts, having Kim explain what she's doing with them, and just the whole concept of this jewel planet and what it means to different people and the treasure that it could be out in the universe. It's going to lead these kids into some rough times ahead. I have a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah. Lacey, what are your thoughts? Mysterious planet, mysterious emblems.
I think that this is the the great work who's been mentioned again by Neil. And so I think that it's one of those things where I'm serious. I'm getting a lot of like Village vibes. The Village is really coming.
Okay. Well, keep one thing in mind though. The Village is a little different because the people in the Village didn't know they were part of this experiment, the M. Night Shyamalan film.
A certain number of them did.
Well, yeah, but the majority of them didn't. And as an audience, we didn't know it at first as well. I get what you're going at. There's like, they're being kept. It's more like a culty thing. Is the thing I'm getting out of this here? Like the real reason why the planet is running. They're not telling the populace of this.
Okay, so what I was going to say though was that with the Village, basically it started out where like 6 or 8 people who had some issues with the outside world decided to put their money together, handle this whole situation, and then as the kids grew up, those are the ones who didn't know, right? So
gotcha. I see where you're going at. Gotcha.
Right? So with the children not realizing like what when they cross the boundary or the atmosphere or whatever it's called.
And they created like that boogeyman to keep them within their boundaries and stuff like that.
Because they're children. And the whole question that Neem asks, where he says, well, what about, because her mom is in administration and his dad is an accountant, and but what are they analyzing? Like, what are they? They don't know. And so I think it's one of those things where kind of like, I don't know, it kind of gives that feel of a group of people came to this planet to get away from things and then just hid themselves potentially. And I think the great work, I agree with, it's got kind of like that culty, not necessarily cult, just indoctrination. Like it's just, this is how we do things. This is how it works. This is how we stay safe. Done. And the fact that I think it's going to be interesting because, much like politics today where things have been done and for instance if someone who is in the upper crust or the 1% or whatever ends up having a problem where the law is that you can't do something, but I think it's going to be interesting to see if she pulls strings to get out Fern's mother pulls her strings to try and go after them, because that would be pretty similar to today.
Kyle?
To real life.
I think Lacey has a point, but I think this goes on a little bit more generational than like even with the Village, whatever's been going on, because I have a feeling that there's people who are in the know and there's parents who aren't in the know. And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but this does feel like some kind of maybe New Republic experiment from early on, or even something from the Old Republic that carried over it. But there is some dirty stuff going on in this.
It also kind of has a Miranda feel from Serenity.
Yeah.
where they put everybody on a planet and then like manipulated them and it just went wrong.
All
Now,
right.
I'm not saying this went wrong, but that's kind of
Well,
possibility.
what I'm curious too is if this planet had a purpose, and then when power shifted throughout the galaxy, the purpose changed. And so I'm really curious. I really hope that they flesh that out. They don't leave too many unanswered questions out there. That's what I'm hoping that we get at. But this kind of leads to what I want to kind of talk about. Well, not yet. I want to talk about a little bit of fun here first. Wim and Firm embody their inner Luke Skywalker, guys. This was a lot of fun in this. With Jod instructing Wim and Firm to man the turrets of the Onyx Cinder at the end of the Skeleton Crew episode. This scene was very much resembled when Luke and Han used the turrets of the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope. This includes Wim and Firm's excitement that they managed to clip one of the New Republic X-Wings, just like when Luke hits one of the Empire TIE fighters. Guys, this was a lot of fun. Kyle, you brought this up earlier.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this scene because it reminded me so much of that. And just the general excitement of the kids getting in the gunner's chair. And I'm like, well, this will be interesting. Are they actually going to shoot at the X-Wings, or are they going to like miss, but have fun with that because of conscious? These are 10-year-old kids, but they just got so into it, and it was just so much fun. And that again comes back to the fun aspect of this show. It will be interesting as we go along and the kids start learning the truth about some things, how they react to some of the things they maybe are doing right now. And I think that's going to be intriguing as well.
Is that fun for you too, Lacey, that scene?
Yeah, and I think that realistically, when you've got a cast of children, I don't think they're going to be committing any like hardcore murder or anything. But winging the ship was kind of a big deal. It kind of had a almost an Alex Rogan, like a Last Starfighter, because it almost felt like a video game to that. I feel like because he's always playing that video game,
right?
It's kind of felt like a real like an immersive video game to him.
That's a good point. Yeah, it was. It was fun seeing the kids have fun in combat, so to speak. But but it was kind of nice though that when you saw the X-Wings land, talk to Kim, and they realized they didn't want to hurt the children inside, so that's why they I think they could have destroyed the ship, but they didn't want to, So yeah, okay. This is the thing I want to get to, guys. Here, Kyle, you alluded to it earlier. In the beginning of this episode, we see the parents of the missing children, including the dad, Wendell. To me, in my opinion, and if you guys disagree, that's fine. If you agree, please elaborate. If you disagree, please elaborate. He's holding something back, and I want to know what he knows. And here's what I'm getting at. We don't really know what happened to the mom. We know that there's a single parent situation going here. We don't know that she's dead. We don't know where she is. I kind of wonder if Wendell knows more than he's saying, because he doesn't say a damn thing in the beginning of this episode. He's just sitting there. He's contemplating while everyone's hysterical and the droid's saying, calm down. And then like he kind of tilts his head down. He takes his glasses off, I kind of get the feeling that I think there's something with the mom going on in this story that we don't know about yet. I feel that either maybe he knows why she's not there anymore. Like maybe she left the planet. Maybe she found something else out. Because when you see Wendell kind of chastise, Wynn for not doing what he's supposed to be doing school-wise, there's an extra concern or tone in his voice. I went back and watched that episode. And kind of wanted to look at that scene again, especially like when he was late for the testing and all that kind of stuff. Like I think he knows that if Wynn doesn't do what he's supposed to do, like maybe the kids are taken away. Maybe the kids are put somewhere else. I don't know, but I have a feeling that he knows something. There's something weird going on there because of his reaction. I want to get you guys' opinion on either my idea or if you notice something different. Lacey, I want to start with you.
So you think it's kind of like an island feel, like The Island, where if the kids are not doing, they say like, oh, he went to
there's like, I feel like there's an extra concern. And it's funny, you just made me, I think it was the Amazing Stories TV series, or maybe it was that rerun of the Twilight Zone in the 80s. I remember an episode that took place in the future, and this kid was with his family, and the kid was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to pass this test that every kid had to take. I'll make you guys proud." And the parents were concerned the whole time. And what happened was the kid ended up passing the test, which is the parents did not want him to do, because the kid now provided a threat as someone who was extra smart that could be a problem with the government that was trying to control everyone. And I kind of got that vibe with this. I'm just saying.
I mean, when it comes down to it, whether the mother is, passed away or divorced or, just out working, she might be a long space trucker or something. Who knows? Because whatever it is, I mean,
what do you think? What's your opinion?
Well, I don't know. I'm open to all the possibilities. There's a million different options. I mean, but I think that any way he looks at it, he's dealing with this by himself. Like he's dealing with this alone, and that can't be easy. I don't have kids. That was but I can't imagine that that's something he's just gonna, breeze through.
Gotcha. What about you, Kyle?
I think there's definitely more there, whether he knows something or he's suspicious of something. But he knows it might be just that fatherly instinct, like there's more to this that's going on. Things don't feel right, from the aspect of seeing the ship take off to how the security droids have treated him since. They haven't said, all they've said is mom isn't coming back. They haven't said necessarily that she's dead or alive. So that's a possibility. And so I see where you're getting that from. But I really think that for me, what I'm just reading on is he's like, there's stuff we're not being told here. My kid is missing. I'm concerned about him. I want to get to the bottom of this. And I think him being an analyst of some kind, because that's all they've said is he's an analyst. Maybe he's starting to put 2 and 2 together on some things and going, wait a minute here. So maybe either he knows something or he's about to discover something with the knowledge he already possesses to get into that.
That's what they're analyzing.
I was wondering if I was the only one wearing the tinfoil hat on this one. Okay.
No, there's something there, but I think it could go. I think it could possibly go the direction you're saying, or it could go a slightly different direction. But there's conspiracy here. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, it's Star Wars. I mean, let's face it. David Hasselhoff could walk in and we wouldn't be surprised. It's just it's a different thing,
I would be surprised if David Hasselhoff came in on an episode.
But you know what I'm saying, though. Like, they could do anything. They could, she could be. Well, they could end up stunt casting her. She might be like in the Senate or something. We never know. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm just, there's a bigger picture with her mom there. I'm just feeling it. It's a gut feeling there. So, all right, guys, let's get into the either fun factor or bomb it from orbital hot take here, there, guys. All right, I'm going to go with my fun factor here, and you touched on it earlier, Lacey.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we love Neil so much? What is it, Neil? Is he like the best new character in Star Wars? Is he cuter than Baby Yoda?
Yes.
What is it about Neil with the Goonies vibe we have going on here? I love Neil. I want a Neil figure. I love Neil. I don't know. I'm not the only one. I'm seeing the Neil love out there. You are showcasing the Neil love as well.
Yep.
Kyle, what is your thoughts on Neil? I know where Lacey stands. We'll elaborate on that more.
He's blue. I love him. He's blue.
He is the heart. He is the heart of the show. He is the one that gives us the show its heart, and without any question about it. You're rooting for him. You feel for him. I think he's the most identifiable for most of us as the average person in there, but along for the ride. So I think it's a lot of that. Yeah, in the cuteness factor of him. Yeah, I can see why people are just gravitating towards the cult of Neil.
Yeah. Lacey, why do you love Neil?
Because he's so cute. He's so cute.
It's the voice too. Let's be honest. The voice.
His big eyes, So yeah,
his little eyelids are just so. I mean, he's just adorable, and I think it really does have kind of. He reminds me of Chunk. In his apprehension. Like, oh, don't want. He almost reminds me of the reluctant goalie in the Mighty Ducks.
Goldberg.
Right? Like it just kind of has that little like just the hesitation. And you see it in all the like fun kid movies. You've got Mighty Ducks, you've got The Sandlot, you know. That's it. He brings that kind of vibe to it, where he's kind of the voice of reason. Like it's like, we're gonna get in so much trouble. Like that's the kid. He wants to do the thing. He wants to be having fun. He wants to like be cool, but he's just like, oh, we're gonna get in so much trouble. He knows what the score is. He knows that they shouldn't be doing this, and he knows that they're, you know, in hot water.
I was envisioning what he was gonna look like during the First Order years, you know, the sequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming he lives, of course, and I hope he does, because I'm gonna riot if he does not live. What?
Don't put that out there.
I know, right? Well, you know, wouldn't be surprised nowadays. But I was just seeing him as this kind of dashing, you know, pilot, or him and Wim are buddies hanging out and, you know, working with the Resistance or something like that. I could totally see that. What about you guys?
He's adorable.
Yeah.
He just is. He's just such a little.
He is honestly the most, like I said, he's the most identifiable character, I think, for the average viewer, and I think that means a lot.
And
all right, guys. Oh, go ahead. Listen.
The little snore that he had. I actually like rewound it a couple times because it reminded me of the Carol Burnett sketch with Tim Conway, where he talks about the two elephants that were conjoined at the nose. Where they, it's a whole thing. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's the funniest Carol Burnett. But it just reminded me of that a lot.
Well, just want to get your guys' final thoughts on this episode. Kyle, start with you.
Again, the fun is continuing. The mysteries are getting better. There's more tie-ins to Star Wars lore. Bring me more, because and what I love about it is too, it doesn't feel heavy. It just feels like you get in there, you're having that fun with the episode, and you just want to get on the ride again next week when the next episode drops.
It is fun. Lisa, let me get your final thoughts on this episode.
I think that this is a really interesting show because you've got a bunch of kids doing the thing, and it's fun. There's definitely a sense of urgency. You know, they know they have to get back. They know there's a fantastic goal to it, but this is about the ride, right? So this is about the adventure in finding their way back, and it's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait for this to last 17 seasons until like one of the, you know, like I want them to last in this so many. I'm in. Like I'm having so much fun with this series.
That's good to hear. You know, hearing you kind of not necessarily discover Star Wars, but rediscover it, and that really is a testament to what this series has done so far. I feel like it's united Star Wars fans again, because with the Acolyte and previous stuff, it's really divided fans, and I feel like a lot
children.
What's that?
It's hard to nitpick children.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's nice though to unite on this, and I think it struck a certain chord among fans.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, ones of a certain age, maybe the Gen X age, that remember the Amblin films and the Spielbergy and stuff like that. But also the younger kids that feeling like they can relate to these kids, and if they were on the same space journey with them, how they're kind of taken along with them for this ride. So it's well, that is it for our coverage of this week's episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. But we're not done yet. Oh, yes, Lacey.
Can I just say I've been very impressed with the last line of each episode so far.
What do you mean?
Each episode has the one last line that so far, like the last episode, it had John almost like face to the camera saying, do you trust me? And then this one was when it was Kim talking to the pilot saying,
right,
I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Like it just.
This is true. I see what you're saying. Yeah. The ending line is that's a nice touch. I see what you're good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah. They go really fast too. Like it was 40 minutes, 36 minutes and 42 minutes. So I'm on the ride, and all of a sudden, like I hear that cool line. I'm like, oh, that's the last line. And then it goes to the music. So yeah,
nice.
Good final thoughts for each episode so far.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to get into the next segment here on Culture Clash because we're not done yet because we've seen some things. We're going to head into buy it, stream it, or unsee it.
Buy it, stream it, or unsee it.
Now, we do have a little bit of a spoiler alert for some of the stuff we'll be talking about, and depending on what it is, some stuff might let loose. So I just want to give you a little warning there. Letterbox, still loving the Letterbox here. Apparently, I've been using Letterbox wrong, Lacey, and I need to. So I've been using Letterbox to keep track of the films I've been watching every year, and in the order that I watch them, of course. And right now, my current span of movies since the first of the year is from January, 2024, January 1st. I'm at 393 films. I'm creeping up on last year's total, which was 407. But apparently, when I input the films to do this, I actually I do like I liked it or add to this, and then I added. I've been clicking the watch list thing as well. But the watch list is a thing you want to do for the movies you haven't seen or you want to see, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to do that. And I also need to get one of those apps that you've been talking about of keeping track of my physical media back here. I think I'm going to have my New Year's resolution. So
you want me to plug the one that I've got? You want me to tell you about it or no?
You have told me about it. We'll discuss that later, but yeah, so we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, I'm creeping up. You think I'm at 393 right now, guys? You think I can reach 407 and beat it?
I mean,
I think so. I think knowing we have what we have coming up and coming out in the theaters and on streaming, I think you got it.
You're at 393.
Yeah, 393. Yes.
Okay, so that's 14 movies, 15 to beat it. So you've got enough.
There's at least 5 Hallmark movies that have to be watched between now and the end of the year.
Yes.
we'll touch on that later. But first of all, Lacey, let's talk about what you've seen. You have seen Moana 2. This has been huge at the box office. This has surprised me, guys. I even forgot. I'll be completely honest with you. I'm usually up to date on movies coming out. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize this was in the theaters until it made over $100 million.
Nice.
You have seen it, obviously, and then you also you picked up not necessarily a popcorn bucket, but what did you pick up?
Well, I did pick up a popcorn bucket. They have right now. Now, keep in mind, I am a Regal pass holder, so
right.
I have the Regal Unlimited, which is like $23 for a month, and you get to see as many movies you want, which is great. So right now they have a Moana popcorn bucket, and it's not an insulated. It's a regular cup, and
it kind of reminds me of a Slurpee cup there with a dome on the top, and it's got a little reenactment of the Moana.
It's so cute. It's got like a little teeny tiny boat and everything in there.
That's cute,
and it's nice. And it's got some stuff on the outside, and then it says Moana 2, and then this side says Moana 2 as well.
And that is a traditional metal tin popcorn with a popcorn bucket
it's a beach bucket.
Yes, it's got the handle. Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
It's cute. Yeah. It's got a little picture of her with her little pig friend and her little what Maui calls breakfast animals. Now the fun part was they did have a popcorn bucket. It was shaped like the wave, the ocean.
Right.
But I opted for a different snack choice. They have. I gotta get real far back so you can see it.
Right there, yeah. It's impressive.
This is the nacho. They have a nacho boat. So this is really cute. It comes like this, and it slides. And
that is the Moana boat, and the top. For the audio listeners, the top slides back, and that's where you put your nachos in it.
The nachos,
nice.
And a little cheese dip, and so you slide it back,
and it's got a little mini Moana character figure on there.
Little Nemo on there, yeah. So it's super cute.
Nice.
Now the boat was $36. And then the combo, this combo was $22, which is not.
That was the popcorn bucket and the cups.
Yeah,
nice.
The combo with the popcorn bucket and the
now,
little drink.
I saw the first Moana. I saw it on. I didn't see it in the theater. I ended up watching it later on TV or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I assume you've seen the first one, correct?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been humming it all week. I had been humming it all week because I knew I was going to be seeing Moana this week, and so all of a sudden I realized the other day I was just like,
What is your thoughts on the sequel, Moana 2?
It was great. I love how they brought Maui back in. I love how they expanded the cast. They had more of a group adventure this year. I don't want to go into too much detail, but some of the villains and the foibles that they dealt with, that she dealt with in the past in the first film, make appearances, and there's a whole new evil entity, I guess we'll call it. We're still dealing with, the gods of the sea and things like that, which are fun. And it's very much it's fantastic. They talk, it deals a lot with nature, and it's a spiritual thing, and it's really interesting. And it goes into some of the history of their island, which is really cool. And I think it's really nice. It's also, it's nice to see. This is a film where the lead character is female and there's no love interest. It's just this woman is doing the thing and getting things done, and she's the leader of their tribe, and it's just adventure and dealing with business, getting down to business, and I love it. It's great.
I don't know if this was something that I saw that was fake, some fans made up, or if this was true, that they're doing a live action version with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing the character he's voicing. Have you guys heard about this?
I heard the rumor.
Yeah, I heard it. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're still doing it.
I thought there was a picture that was taken on the set of him somewhere on a beach, and he had all the tattoos of his character extra, because part of it is real. He has his real tattoos.
Yeah,
but I think they added more because he's all over it. But I don't know if you guys have heard this or not. So I'm kind of curious about that. So is this I buy it, stream it, or unsee it for you?
It says I'm sorry. It says Moana live action is slated to debut theaters July 10, 2026.
There we go. So I did see something there. Okay, cool.
This is definitely buy it. I loved it. The soundtrack is fantastic. Again, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who can do no wrong. I mean, let's face it,
Gotcha.
He's amazing. I think he is soon to surpass any of the other songwriters for the most Disney films.
what I'm curious about, if the live action is going to be a remake of the first one, like they do with all of the other live action Disney versions.
That makes sense.
Or are they going to kind of say, no, we're going to kind of have this as a semi-sequel to the first two. We're just not going to call it Moana 3. We'll call it Moana something or something. So kind of curious about that, where they're going to be going with that direction. So, well, cool. So it's a buy it for you.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, I have something I haven't seen yet, but I did want to bring attention to this because I'm going to be seeing it tomorrow night in a special presentation. I'm going to go see Nosferatu, guys. And for those of you who don't know, this is, of course, is a remake of the classic 1920s silent film that is still scary AF to watch, based on the famous vampire and Dracula and such. And this is actually releasing on Christmas Day. My wife is mad at me because she wants to see it, but it doesn't release until New Year's in Australia right now because that's where she is. But I'm lucky enough, though, is the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. They have a theater that they own and run here. It was an older theater, that kind of an art house theater, and they refurbished it and added some great new seats and screen and projector and all that kind of stuff. They're having a special screening of the movie, and it was only like $22 for the event. But afterwards, they're having a Q&A with editor Louise Ford, production designer Craig Lathrop, and costume designer Linda Muir. And I'm really kind of curious about this because I've seen the trailer for this, and I've tried not to watch any of the extra ones, but this is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and the terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake. Directed by Robert Eggers. You guys know who Robert Eggers is. He's a hit or miss director with me. He directed The Lighthouse. He did The Northman. He did, was it that other horror film, The Witch, I think, or something like that. My wife loved it. He's got a very interesting style about himself. And So I'm kind of excited about this. Kyle, did you have any thoughts? Since I know you got to leave in a little bit, so I just wanted to...
Yeah, I'm excited for this movie. It's getting a lot of hype, so I can't wait to hear your report on it. I need to step away, guys. Real life has kind of just popped its head in. Just tell all the listeners out there, as always, thank you for listening. We'll be back I'll be back for the more Skeleton Crew coverage next week. You are in great hands with Kevin and Lacey. We will talk to you guys soon.
All right, Kyle. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
So I'm excited about this because I'm a fan of that original Nosferatu. It's still I love vampire movies, but I kind of want to know what your anticipation is with this, Lacey. Is this something that you want to see? Because you teased what the popcorn bucket's going to look like, and I got to go to a place that has the freaking popcorn bucket for the second. It's like the casket of Nosferatu or something like that.
Yes, which looks really great. It's I think it's called it's not Tomb. It's I'll think of it anyway. I think it looks great. I'm traditionally I am not a horror person. I don't like horror movies. I'm not a big fan. I like to be able to pretend it's something else with maybe a little bit of horror in it. There's one caveat to that. I love vampire movies.
Me too.
Movies.
Me too.
Always have. Don't know why. Maybe it's Buffy. Maybe Buffy just made it okay.
So Robert Eggers has a very stylistic look to his films, and that's what I'm curious about. I couldn't stand The Lighthouse. I'll never watch that again. I was disappointed with The Northman for reasons, but I like his style, and I'm excited about this because Bill Skarsgård plays Nosferatu, and then co-starring is Lily Rose Depp. Of course, that is Johnny Depp's daughter, and Nicholas Hoult, which I'm a huge fan of as well. So very curious about this. I will have a report. I will have a non-spoiler report next Culture Clash. So you guys pay attention to that.
Nice.
All right. Next. So I'm laughing here. Sorry. This came on Netflix, came out, I think in September. This is called Subservience, 2024 film, starring Megan Fox, Michelle Ramone, and Madeline Zima. This follows a struggling father who purchased a domestic sim, basically a robot that is a nanny, to help care for his house and family. Unaware, she will gain awareness and turn deadly. This is Megan Fox, by the way. She plays the character in question, the robotic sim. And this movie kind of gets into it obviously takes place in the near future where simulated robotic characters take place of houses. And when you're watching this, you're going, when's stuff going to go bad? It's going to happen, and of course it does. It's Megan Fox looks really good in this, by the way, but she does it in a very creepy way, which is also entertaining. I think she's good in the role. There is a weird robot sex scene.
Is the photo that you're showing here, is that what she looks like? Because that to me does not, I didn't recognize that as Megan Fox until I saw that it said Megan Fox.
Well, if you're talking about the picture on the right that I'm showing here on YouTube, that's what happens after she gets injured. Part of her face kind of strips apart. But the ones to the left is a line of them. Basically, she's off of like a line of these things. But interesting stuff starts to happen with self-awareness and then revenge and jealousy and stuff like that. It's not a great film, I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to say it's a unsee it. It's not a buy it. I probably won't be watching this again. Was entertained throughout parts of it, definitely, especially with her being creepy, and a lot of people were making the Megan reference. I didn't see Megan, the creepy doll girl that goes crazy and starts killing things, but it's a similar plot, so to speak. Just to be honest with you, if you're curious, it's a stream it. I wouldn't say unsee it, but maybe a pass.
It kind of feels like, just from the description, it feels like Bicentennial Man meets Cherry 2000 or something. Or
I wouldn't compare this one to Cherry 2000 at all.
No,
no. It's basically an AI/robot that is part of a company that provides service and stuff like that, but they start to get a little self-aware and get crazy, and then stuff happens, and so yeah, definitely. But if you're a fan of Megan Fox, she's beautiful in this, and she's definitely creepy the way that she acts and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking though of like, the machines uprising, I am going to go see Y2K this week.
I'm curious about that. Let me know. Yeah.
This looks hilarious. I cannot wait.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Looking forward to that report because I was kind of circling whether or not I should see that or not. So yeah, I might go see Craven. We'll see.
I'm gonna.
All right. Let's get into some television here, guys. I watched the first episode and I kind of let it go for a little bit. And my wife was like, you gotta finish watching this. And this is Lacey, this is Taylor Sheridan's planet. We're just living in it right now. He's writing everything. What's that?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Tyler Sheridan is he's been a writer, a screenwriter, but he became more famous with producing and running the very wildly popular Yellowstone TV series with Kevin Costner. Okay. And he also co-stars as a side character, not a main character, but he comes in and pops things in and out. And he's also written and produced all of the spin-offs, the 1883s, the 1923s. And this is another one of his, Landman here. And this is stars Billy Bob Thornton. It's a modern tale of fortune seeking in the world of West Texas oil rigs, created, of course, by Taylor Sheridan. Stars Billy Bob Thornton, Ali Larter, Jacob Lofin, John Hamm, Demi Moore, James Jordan, Michelle Randolph, and Kyla Wallace. John Hamm basically is a Texas billionaire oil guy, and the landman himself, Billy Bob Thornton, is a guy that works for him and runs all of the oil rigs, basically, and runs the crews that run this. And he has to deal with a lot of shit in the 5 episodes that have dropped so far of the 10 episodes that are coming out. And he has also been nominated for a Golden Globe for this role that just got released, basically. And Billy Bob is great in this. And Demi Moore plays the wife of John Hamm, although she hasn't had a lot of burn in it yet. And there's this character called James Jordan who's been in like every single, I think he's a personal friend of Taylor Sheridan. And if you're wondering what Taylor Sheridan looks like, he's the guy in the bottom right there, Lacey, with the cowboy hat on. He's been writing everything. And A-list celebrities want to be in his productions. Hence why John Hamm and Demi Moore will come in, and Demi Moore has spoken maybe like 4 or 5 words in the first 4 episodes. She's kind of like the pretty wife, I'm sure she might have more of a role later. But the stuff that Billy Bob Thornton has to deal with is interesting. He has to deal with a cartel, and drugs landing in his area, and just a lot of shit that happens, and what it's like to actually work in the oil field area. And it's not pretty. There's some really cool drama in there as well. And Ali Larter, of course, who a lot of people know from the football
Blonde.
Say it again.
Legally
Blonde, but also
Final Destination.
What?
Final Destination.
You're saying every other film but the one I want to say, the football film.
Oh, Friday Night Lights. No. Varsity Blues,
the famous whipped cream bikini girl. Yeah.
Got it.
She plays the ex-wife, soon to be, So she's great in it. I'm fully on board with the series. Episode 5 just dropped, and I watched it.
So is it safe to say that Tyler Sheridan is the Midwestern Shonda Rhimes with truck nuts?
I would say more than that. Okay. Yeah, because of all of the shows he has, and I'm not done talking about him.
That's what I'm saying. Like Shonda Rhimes has like that whole Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal. Like that was she has that Shonda Land kind of thing.
No, yeah, I think you're right, but I feel like he is just blown up. He's got his hands in everything, and he's done so much other stuff that people are starting to rediscover his older films that he's written and co-written and stuff like that. And he's come a long way too. And he has another spin-off series from Yellowstone that's coming out as well. Yellowstone is finishing out its 6th season right now. I think it is. Yeah. He's like one of the most powerful writer producers in the world right now. And speaking of Taylor Sheridan, this series just finished its 2nd season, and I am all board on this. This is The Linus, fantastic series about the CIA working with special forces, a CIA operative, Joe, played by Zoe Saldana, attempts to balance her personal and professional lives as the tip of the spear of an agency's war on terror. Guess what? Creator Taylor Sheridan. Not only that, he acts a small part in this role. He's in that middle picture right there. He plays one of the special forces guy. In the last episode, he kicked some major ass. And in this series too, you also have Morgan Freeman and Nicole Kidman co-starring in it as CIA operatives above her, barking orders at her and such. It's gritty, and basically the reason why it's called Lioness is because the guest star female that comes in to help with the special missions and stuff. And the first season Lioness carries over into the second season and joins the new Lioness that helps with this kind of drug cartel that is working with these Chinese terrorists and stuff. There's a lot of action, a lot of great drama. And I'm just going to say this right now. Zoe Saldana deserves an award. I don't know if she got nominated. I got to double check for Golden Globes. This is her best acting role, especially when she has to keep secrets from her family of the real stuff that she has to do. Cause she's a badass soldier in this. She kills people. She kills bad people in this, along with her really cool crew. And one of the guys that's in the Taylor Sheridan earlier one that I mentioned in Landman, and also he's had roles in Yellowstone. He also has a role. He's one of the fighters in this Lioness series as well. This is buy it for me. Buy it.
So are each of the series, is each series kind of standalone, or like the first one, it says Special Ops Lioness, new series July 24th.
The first season is definitely standalone. The second season could be, if you just watch the second season as well, but there's stuff that they do reference in the first season, but in a way, they're told in a way they both could be standalone seasons. But the dichotomy with her and her family really kind of carries over. So you want to watch them both. But man, good series. Zoe Saldana kicks ass. This is like, I know she's more known now for Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that, but this is her best role in my opinion. So
got it.
All right. Well, we've wrapped up main movie segment, but I got this segment here, Lacey, that I like to showcase. And I know this makes Kyle cringe sometimes. This is the Hallmarky channel pick of the week here. Now, this might not necessarily be a Hallmark channel movie, but it feels Hallmarky. And I say that's a term that I use because, once Hallmark started, opened up the gusher, everyone else started doing it. And Netflix has really kind of jumped on. I've been watching a lot of Hallmarky Netflix films. As I mentioned, we talked about the Lindsay Lohan Assance, even, her co-star from Mean Girls. She's gone over and done a bunch of Hallmarky films over at Netflix. This one's an older one, but I absolutely love it. I want to know if you've seen it too. It's a wonderful film called A Castle for Christmas. Have you seen this, Lacey?
Yeah, I have it. It's on my wall. I love it.
Okay. I need to get this on DVD. You need to help me out because I love this film too. Okay. So this stars Brooke Shields and our favorite, I guess you could say Dread Pirate Robert. Carrie Ellis is the love interest in this. To escape a scandal, a best-selling author journeys to Scotland where she falls in love with a castle and faces off with the grumpy Duke who owns it. Of course, stars Brooke Shields and Carrie Ellis. A great film. Basically, she plays an author who ends up killing one of the favorite characters in the author, and all of her fans revolt against her. And she goes off on the Drew Barrymore show, and she's like, I got to get away with things. I'm going to go back to an old castle I used to visit with my father and my grandfather in Scotland, and comes to find out that the castle is for sale. And the grumpy old Duke, of course, is played by Carrie Ellis. And he's reluctantly does not want to sell it to her, but she ends up buying it and end up falling for each other. But she learns a lot about the Scottish heritage and realizes that her family ties actually are connected with this castle. Castle's beautiful. It has a great little cast of family of friends and stuff that she meets in town. Very predictable, of course. But what I thought was really cool, Lacey, and since you haven't owned this, the chemistry between Brooke and Carrie was actually fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. Yeah. And interestingly enough, this is two Scottish films back to back that you've brought up. The last one was the Scottish Christmas. Yeah, I dug this, and I think that my favorite little nugget of this is when she finds her the carving in the door frame.
Yes.
She remembers from as a kid, like from being a kid. And
Was it her father or grandfather? The McGinty.
It was her grandfather.
That's right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But this is a fun movie. It's once again, it's the Hallmark style. It's the,
Brooke Shields. I feel like she's kind of finding a second life with her doing these type of films. Because I went and watched the Mother of the Bride, the one that you liked.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. She's funny. I'm glad she's back kind of doing this type of stuff. I want to see her in more rom-coms. I want to see her more doing this. And I hope that they do a sequel to this. I would love to see it. I love their chemistry. It would be fun to kind of see how, maybe this castle becomes a much bigger tourist attraction or something like that. The only thing that kind of disappointed me a little bit was that they actually didn't film it in Scotland. They filmed it in Ireland.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But other than that, I've been to Ireland. It's a beautiful country. Scotland's my favorite, of course, for reasons. But highly recommend it if you're looking for a Hallmarky channel. So, yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap things up here. All right, this is Culture Clash live on YouTube. Thank you guys for joining us again. As always, we hope you enjoy your listening to this as well. If you are listening to this, make sure you check out the YouTube channel and watch the video. We've been sharing all the slides, and please subscribe. We'd appreciate that. And again, we want to give a shout out to our fellow Star Wars brothers here on the Fandom Podcast Network, the host of What a Piece of Junk, Derek, Scott, and Nathan. They will, of course, be doing a deep dive into the most recent episode of the Skeleton Crew. Make sure you check that out. Drops on the Fandom Podcast Network master feed there. And, of course, we will be covering Skeleton Crew ourselves here on Culture Clash throughout the rest of the season. We got up until January 4th, which is the January 14th, is the final episode. So we got some fun stuff going on here. Of course, this is the Fandom Podcast Network. Please follow us on YouTube. And also our master feed at FPNet.podbean.com. The Fandom Podcast Network is also on Instagram, X, Facebook, and now we are on Blue Sky at FanPod Network. Lacey, how can we find you?
Everywhere except Instagram, I am Lacy Pants. On Instagram, right. I'm the Lacy Pants.
And so you're Lacy Pants everywhere except Instagram.
Right.
The Lacy Pants.
Don't forget Discord and Threads.
That's right. You can find Kyle on X at AKyleW, Instagram and Threads at AKyleFandom, and AKyleW on Discord, at KSport on Letterboxd, and at Blue Sky, he is at AKyleW. I am Spartan_Phoenix on all of the social medias, except for Blue Sky. It's just Spartan Phoenix. So there you go. We also want to give a shout out to TeePublic, guys. If you like what you're seeing, we've got all of our fun logos from all of our shows on TeePublic. Just search Fandom Podcast Network. You also put them on t-shirts, mugs, hats, banners, all kinds of fun stuff, pillows as well. Every time you purchase a Fandom Podcast Network shirt on TeePublic, we get a little kickback, helps pay for our hosting fees and such, and so it keeps the light on. So there you go. Lacey, thank you so much for joining us again. I look forward next week for your input on episode 4 of
absolutely
Skeleton Crew. So yeah, all right. And we got a lot of, as we mentioned earlier, we got a lot of fun stuff on the network, a lot of couch potato theaters and a bunch of fun stuff. So make sure you guys check that out. This has been Culture Clash episode 265, talking about Skeleton Crew episode 3. Join us next week for episode 4. And until next time, guys, please remember, most important there, all right? Respect others and enjoy your fandom. We'll see you guys next week.